you're having to deal with a physical wave after physical wave. You get on defense, you're dealing with 1,000 cuts, 1,000 actions, 1,000 zooms, 1,000 backdoors. You get the ball, physical again. We're having to get past one defender, and then there's two, three, four. There's multiple lines of defending. Over 40 minutes, they just wear you out. UConn is getting its groove back after what was considered a down year last year and a tough loss to Arizona. They completely dominated Illinois, basically from start to finish. Remember, like, subscribe to enter your name in the portal. Let's go. The first thing I want to start with UConn is defense, though. And defensively, they just defend in waves. They cover each other's backs. And as an offensive player, it becomes so daunting to have to beat your man, first of all, but then know that there's a second and a third and sometimes a fourth defender that you have to get through. When you have to deal with that constantly again and again and again, you don't understand the type of effort that it takes out of you on the defensive end too. So when your offense is struggling that much to get shots going, and besides Boswell tonight, Illinois struggled, you then go down on the defensive side. And if you watch UConn, they play just as aggressive on offense as they do on defense. Offensively, they play for each other in the fact that they cut, they run hard, they screen hard. And it's half the time it's not for them to get that shot. Karaban sets screens and cuts hard to set up ball coming off of a zoom action, to set up Reed to get a shot inside the paint. And so you're defending all these actions aggressively on defense, and they get into their motion, their action quick. I noted multiple times they were within their action. If they couldn't get out in transition, they were in their offensive action by 23, 24 seconds left to go on the shot clock. And so then as a defender, you're now defending all five positions, are having to defend for 22, 23 seconds. And 9 times out of 10, UConn's getting a good shot as it is. So when you have those waves of just back and forth rocking, it's like a vending machine, right? You can't get the vending machine down in one push. It rocks back and forth, builds momentum, and eventually it falls over. And that's what playing UConn is like, in that you go on defense, you're defending for 20 plus seconds, 1,000 cuts, 1,000 actions, 1,000 zooms, 1,000 backdoor cuts. You finally get the ball, and then you get past your defender, and there's 2, 3, 4 guys just waiting for you. And then they go and hit you in transition. And if that's not there, okay, another 20 to 25 seconds of having to defend every action, 1,000 cuts, 1,000 zoom actions, and so forth. You then take the physicality portion of that, and some teams can meet UConn physically for 15 to 20 minutes, maybe 25 to 30. But over the course of 40 minutes, you have to maintain that toughness through the entire start to finish, because UConn might lapse for 2 minutes here or 3 minutes here. But if you're wanting to beat them, you are going to have to match that physicality for 36 to 37 minutes, which brings us to our next point of the bench that UConn now has. Last year's group did not have that bench. They struggled at the point guard. Damari coming in was a huge get in the transfer portal, and it's not to take anything away from that. And I love him, and he fits great as this point guard for UConn. Malachi Smith might have been one of the more important pickups for them out of the portal. He was a consistent starter at Dayton, and you bring that type of player in, and he's coming off the bench to help in those situations. He had 8 assists against Arizona. That 3 that he made was just throwing it up, but you see he's a 5th-year player. You see the type of basketball IQ to say, oh, he's reaching in, let me just throw this up and just see what we can get. And that's the type of stuff that just adds up over time. And specifically the physicality with the bench. We just watched the North Carolina game yesterday. There was a clear lack of physicality by UNC when they went to the bench. Michigan State didn't have that drop off physically. When you go to the bench, a lot of teams drop off in toughness, which when that happens, if you have two teams that starting 5 or their top 6 are physically tough, they match up against each other, they go to the bench, it kind of drops. The new guys come back in, they're well rested, they're ready to go. For UConn, the whole group, everyone they play has that physicality toughness. So there's no break in the physical toughness when you play against UConn unless they turn it off or maybe have a couple boneheaded plays and it changes. But again, over the course of 40 minutes, you're having to deal with a physical wave after physical wave. You get on defense, you're dealing with 1,000 cuts, 1,000 actions, 1,000 zooms, 1,000 backdoors. You get the ball. Physical again. We're having to get past one defender, and then there's 2, 3, 4. There's multiple lines of defending. Over 40 minutes, they just wear you out. And if you can't get a lead on them early, chances are the game is not going to go well. And I think even with the Arizona game that they did lose, you saw a type of championship pedigree that's rooted in the program, and that without Mullins, without Reed, the guards in foul trouble, I think 4 of the 5 starters had 2 fouls in the first half of that game. They still had a chance to win it close in the end. And they ended up losing because Arizona made some great plays, and Arizona looks like one of the best teams in the country this year. But you see that out of UConn, where it was like, okay, even with all of these circumstances up against us, we can still create an environment for us to be successful in. And there's a lot of programs in the country that can't do that. There are so many programs in the country that the environment has to be perfect. The matchup has to be perfect. The coaching staff has to be perfect for things to go right for them. And you look at the top tier programs in the country, a team, in my opinion, like Houston, a team like UConn, or a program really like Houston and like UConn, that they create the environment for them to have success. Which is why when you get to March, there are certain programs where you're just like, they're going to get out of the first weekend. They're going to be successful. They're not someone we have to worry about. Well, do they get the right matchup, or do they get the right shooting? Do they have the good shooting night? Things don't have to go perfect for UConn to win. When they do go perfect, UConn wins by 20 to 30 points. When they don't go there, when things don't go their way, they're not going to lose by double digits. And so that is the thing with this team, with this program that's clearly instilled by Hurley, by the fans, by the environment, by the players, by the recruiting that they do, by the entire staff. We create environments for us to be successful in, and we capitalize on those situations as best as we possibly can. And that's the reason why this program has 2 national championships in 3 years, why they're a top 5 team again this year, why they're probably going to be playing for a Final Four, and very likely they could win a national championship this year. So across the board for UConn tonight, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff we could get into, but I think it's just, you see the program blueprint that is there. It's so evident, it's so clear, and it's just fun to watch as a basketball fan. And me as a Carolina fan, I wish that's what we looked like. If you could tell me what I would want at Carolina, it's everything that UConn has and stands for at this time right now. The question marks I had for UConn going into the season are being answered. And while there's still cracks or things that could go wrong, just like every team, nobody's perfect this season, they are becoming more and more evident to me as one of those clear tier 1 teams in the country. But yeah, get in the comments. Let me know what you guys saw tonight. UConn is back. They're getting their groove. It was fun to see Hurley and his form tonight too, on the refs, on the players. And it was a program environment, program win. And UConn at Madison Square Garden is probably one of the most intense places outside of a home campus environment that a team could play. They're spectacular there. The fans were on one. It was great. And then shout out to Boswell for Illinois tonight. I thought he played fantastic. He was the only reason the game was even somewhat close at the end. Illinois, I think, will be fine tonight, or today needs to be about UConn. Happy holidays. I hope you guys have enjoyed your time with your friends and family for Thanksgiving. Great week of basketball is coming to an end. We'll be back here next week. Please like the video, share, subscribe to enter your name in the portal, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.